Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Mike Martinez, and I'm with the communications team here at Front Porch Home Office. And this is Layla. She's with me today. She's a licker.
Oh.
She's a silky poo, which means she's half poodle and half silky terrier.
It's
She
pretty.
was a rescue dog, and we've had her since 2015. She's about 6 years old. Thank you all again for joining us. Pets are very popular at Front Porch communities, as you can see from our participation today. They bring residents companionship and joy, especially now during the pandemic, as much as you can imagine. Today we have featured guests from three of our communities. Frederica Manor in Chula Vista, Vista Del Monte in Santa Barbara, and Wesley Palms in San Diego. Following our guest stories, we will open the floor up for today's participants. They like to share a pet story of their own. And we also have a little slideshow that we're going to show you. So Mary already introduced herself. So let me throw it back to her. She's our volunteers manager. She also works in the home office with me. We sit about 20 feet apart, which is perfect for these times. Not only she had been a frequent co-host on the Strength of Community chats, but she's involved in various organization-wide programs like the recent collaborative quilt project. So if you follow Front Porch on Facebook or subscribe to our YouTube channel, for example, you can find out more about those projects. Mary also owns a couple of pets, as you can see there. So Mary, tell us the story of how you came to own the pets and how they have contributed positively to your life and household.
Thank you, Mike, for introducing me. I want to show you, I know you've seen a photo of me and Bean, who is our larger guinea pig, but these are Coco and Bean. They're brothers, and they are actually my daughter's guinea pigs. And our family doesn't have pets normally. My husband didn't grow up with pets. We grew up with lots of dogs and cats throughout our lives, but I don't do small things, small little animals, and I don't like to pick them up. They don't like me to pick them up. So she was given these. They are a rescue. A friend of hers was getting married and moving away. And they have just been so much fun in our house. They have a pen, which is in the entryway. We decided to put them there so that they would be visible to us, so we wouldn't forget to feed them. But our kids, my husband loves them. We love walking by them, and they squawk if they need food. They tell us exactly what they need. And my daughter, who's 19, does an amazing job taking care of them. So they're a fun addition. You can see that they're kind of fighting right now. So, but they're lots of fun.
We're gonna move on to our next guest from Frederica Manor.
Okay.
If you're familiar with Frederica, you know it sometimes kind of reminds you of the little town of Mayberry, because it's classic charm, has quiet streets dotted with cottages, nice rose garden, nice little putting green, and of course the lily pond that it's famous for. Nancy and David are residents there, and they've lived there for a little over a year, and they have a pet that suits his name for many reasons. Nancy and David, can you please tell us your pet story and what your favorite thing or things about your community
Sure.
are that make you feel welcome?
Lucky came to us as a rehome situation. His parents were getting a divorce. His mother was living with her parents, and she has 3 kids under 5. And he joined a home with another dog, and it was too much for them. And our nephew mentioned that he knew we were looking at dogs at Frosted Faces. For anybody that doesn't know what that is, it's a great organization. And he said, I've got a little dog if you're interested. And we said, sure. And they brought the dog, we were on lockdown. So they brought the dog to his house. And it really was love at first sight. And he has given us a great amount of love, a lot of laughter, and he's a barker.
And a lot of exercise too. He gets us out
Yes.
twice a day.
twice a day for walks.
And he has his people that he likes to visit. When it's nice out, there's a few neighbors that like to eat out on their front porch, and he'll visit them for breakfast. And one gentleman, every time he drives by with his car, he has to stop and open his car door up. And Lucky goes over and gives him a little greeting. So he's got a lot of friends here like we do. And like you say, Frederica is a wonderful little town.
Yes, it is. And people that we don't know are always happy to see Lucky. And he's especially good with people that may have Alzheimer's. They can't remember his name. They don't know who we are, but they know about the dog. And he's so soft to touch, and it makes them feel good, and it makes us feel good. And yeah, he's a good little, what would the word be? A good, can't think of the word. Well,
Icebreaker.
Yeah, that's it. A good icebreaker for meeting new people and people that really like Lucky. And he has his friends. He's got a little girlfriend down the street. And even if he's in bed, he knows that Hannah is going by. So he shows us how he can bark then. But what else would you like to say?
I think there's about 5 or 6 of us that have pets here at Frederica. I know that there's Grace is on here, and Peggy is on here. And of course, Lucky's met all the dogs here, so they're all pretty friendly. There's no big dogs. There's a new dog that's moved into the neighborhood now, within the last month, and he's real curious when we get to that part of campus. He spends a lot of time hanging around there to get to know him better, I think.
When you brought Lucky home, did you rename him, or did you?
No.
Is that always his name?
He's 10 years old, and I've just never been in favor of renaming a dog that already is used to a name. And he felt lucky, we felt, and we feel extremely lucky to have him. So it's really an appropriate name for him, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so.
Not that he comes to it when you call him.
No, he doesn't.
He's pretty independent.
But we love him despite his little, foibles, which is barking. But he's getting better.
And I know some people who live in retirement communities who are unable to, pets are not allowed, so they're unable to bring pets in. How important is it for you to be able to have a pet at Frederica?
Oh boy, it's extremely important. I went right away to see Karina, is that correct? Mm-hmm. And said, we want a dog, we need a dog, we have to have a dog. And here it has to go through the, the master here. And then you have to prove that it's a little dog and he's got all his shots, and you have to come up with $500. So we know we really love him. And he was approved right away. They said, yes, we can get a dog. And at the time we were really considering the frosted faces because they have older dogs. Some dogs that have been or still have problems. And we thought that would be perfect for us. We wanted an old dog, not a puppy. We're not puppies ourselves. So the older dog was really, really ideal for us. And it is important to have a dog. It really is. No matter what you have to pay for a down payment for a dog, it was well worth it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He got his pennies together. And
if you really want to see a wonderful organization, look at Frosted Faces online. It's in Ramona, and they have dogs of all types.
Pedigrees, mutts.
Some of them have a background that they'll tell you about. Some of them, they have no background. They just pick them up on the street. But there's so many wonderful dogs there. And like Nancy said, they're not puppies, so you don't have to train them. We were fortunate to get a dog that was house trained, so none of that. He hasn't chewed any shoes up or anything like that. So
Hasn't gone potty
yeah,
inside.
it's nice to get an older dog. It really was perfect for us.
Yep. And it's perfect that they allow dogs. We've met many people with dogs that we don't know, not like Peggy and Grace, who we knew before, but the dogs bring everybody to you. It's just a magnet.
Nice. Well, thank you, both of you, Nancy and David, for sharing that with us.
Sure.
Well, our next featured guest is our Penny and her dog, and they join us from Vista Del Monte in Santa Barbara. Their story is interesting because they moved into Vista Del Monte this past summer during the pandemic. So Penny, tell us your pet's name and also the story of how you came to choose Vista Del Monte as your new home despite the pandemic.
So I was in quarantine for 2 weeks in a second-story apartment. And so Bogey needed to go outside, obviously. I have a friend who lives here, Nancy. And so she would take Bogey twice a day for a walk. And then a third walk every day was with a different staff member. So Bogey was out in the community, meeting people, becoming very familiar with the community. And by the time I was able to go out, people knew Bogey. And so when you use the word, Nancy, you said icebreaker, it's even more than that. People had fallen in love with him. And so they, sort of figured, well, I must be okay if I'm with him. So that's how we arrived here. And my friend Nancy, I had visited with her, spent time here, and thought, yes, this is someplace I could feel right at home. It's that kind of a community that you can feel right at home. One of the surprising things about Vista Del Monte is that I have these wonderful group of dog owners. We get together every couple of weeks. We call it our Yappy Hour. And it's outdoors. We meet outdoors and take turns bringing something to drink and something to nibble on. And the dogs all get along. They're all small dogs. And now there are 4 dogs. But it's a social life for me. And I have and him. I mean, mostly it's his friends, but they've become my friends as well. That's been a really important thing for me here, because with this COVID-19, we just don't have as many social activities going on as that they had previously. I'm sure we're all in that same boat. So that's been a wonderful surprise. Another surprise is what a really, really well-stocked library we have here. We even have a resident who's a retired librarian, so everything is just right, and a budget. So books are being bought regularly. And since we're not getting out and about, I think the library's had more use than ever. So that's been a lovely surprise.
That is wonderful. And you've told me that you're adjacent to a place where Bogey likes to go in the neighborhood.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. That was another draw to come here to Vista Del Monte. In the car, it's 7 minutes to the beach where dogs are allowed off leash any time of day or night. It's not limited. And it's a beautiful beach. It's called Arroyo Burro. And if you ever come to Santa Barbara, and even if you're just passing through on your way someplace else and you have your dog with you, you might want to stop down there and let your dog run around a bit. We go Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the morning. We go, and it keeps me on track. I remember if it's Monday, or if it's not the day to the beach, it must be maybe Tuesday, or otherwise the days are all the same. So it's really good. It's kind of given me a rock to hold on to, having this regular schedule. And of course, Bogey loves it, absolutely loves it.
So that sounds like the funnest thing ever. And you have, just this year has been so beautiful. But we've discussed this already, Penny. I figure you're pretty popular. But if you had to wager who's more popular, is it you or Bogey?
Oh, okay, so when Helene, our director of enrichment, put out the notice, the email notice, it said that a Bogey was going to be on the community chat with Penny. It wasn't Penny and Bogey, it was Bogey will be on the community chat with Penny.
Oh my goodness. You are his sidekick.
His sidekick. That really is the right way to say it.
Or you're lucky you have such a handsome friend there.
Well,
He gets you into all the great places. Well, I'm so glad that you have come to join us at Vista Del Monte, and that you and Bogey have found a really great place to build community and to make friends. And it sounds so special. So thank you. Well, let's go back to AJ and see if things are working out better for us. Can I tell your story? I know that it's not the same, but may I tell your story? But AJ lives, as you know, he lives in one of our patio homes. He's got a wonderful not a rescue cat, I'm sorry. It's a cat named Piper. And she is a beautiful calico cat. And she came to him via Craigslist. And he told us the story that as his wife was no longer able to drive and she was more homebound, he looked for a cat to be a companion for her. And he thought that would really be suitable for her and for him as well, as she needed help and companionship. So he found on Craigslist this cat. So the cat came with all of the accoutrement, and it's Calico, just the loveliest, sweetest little girl in the world. And her name was Piper. And the person who was having to give up Piper was a service person. She was getting ready to be deployed. So he found that Piper was a wonderful comfort to his wife because she is so extremely social. So she loves to be with her people. And so she just made them both very, very happy. And they moved into Wesley Palms a few years ago together in one of the patio homes. And then his wife has since passed away, but Piper continues, and she's a house cat. So she just loves being in her element. She loves being in the sun. And you saw the picture of her on the flyer. She's gorgeous. But she also wanders out onto the patio and suns herself and visits with folks who come up to the patio. But she's one of those that you're going to find around you when you come in the door. So she just loves people. And that's kind of rare. I know that some of our cat people love cats because they stay away, and others love them because they love the companionship.
Thank you all for sharing your stories, our guests. Before we open it up for some other stories, we'd like to show you a little slideshow.
We asked folks to send us photos of their pets, and so some of you were able to send those right off. Bobby and Charlotte are featured on Facebook. That's Bobby. He's a party animal, and they live at Claremont Manor together. There's another white dog, our beloved white dogs, Joe and Phoebe. Marty Arlington really is so cute. Probably would be good friends with Piper. He looks so social.
He's very beautiful and he is very social.
Look at those eyes.
Yeah. He's a handsome dude. Is he inside most of the time?
Yes, all the time.
Mm-hmm. And we've met Chico today, Grace. What's your favorite thing about Chico?
I couldn't live without a pet, and that's why I moved to Frederica Manor, because we could have them here. We even have a dog park on our campus, and I moved into a smaller place. My partner died, so we were in a 2-bedroom place, and I moved into a 1-bedroom cottage, and it didn't have a fenced-in yard, so I was able to put a fenced-in yard for him. So they're just so wonderful to have. He keeps me active. I'm having trouble with my legs, but I'm walking because I gotta walk him. And so he keeps me active.
And are Peggy and Dale here? Yeah, do you want to tell us about Lucy? Anything you want us to know about her?
Lucy was a rescue. I was looking for a small dog. We moved here actually with a large dog who was quite old and died just maybe a month after we were here.
Mm.
And so we were allowed to get another small animal. And so I just saw Lucy's face and thought she's it. And she was with Baja Sanctuary. They come up once a month to pet shops, and you can meet the animal and see if that works for you. And she's been perfect. She's now 4.5. She was 2 when we got her, and never a problem with anything except barking when someone comes to the door. But other than that, she's been very good, and just gives us a lot of companionship. And we've gotten to know both Chico and Lucky, and it's been fun to get together. So
Very nice. Thank you. Bruce Krieger, are you here today? I don't think I saw your name. Bruce lives at Walnut Village, and obviously he loved Bonnie. Bonnie is so cute, so beautiful, very stately, and he had Carly as well. And I don't know if either of these dogs are living, but Walnut Village has some wonderful pets as well. And I've noticed some larger pets move into that community as well. And
These two certainly know how to ham it up, don't they?
yeah, I'm a little scared. but
They know they're getting their picture taken, I think.
yeah, it is kind of interesting how they have just the perfect smile together or something. I don't know what that sounded like.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, Bruce, tell us about your pet.
Well, I don't know if any of the other communities do, but I am the pet ambassador at Walnut Village.
Tell
And
us about that.
And when we moved in here, we moved in with 2 75-pound dogs. And we were allowed to move in with a 45-pound dog or less, 1 dog. And so we had 2 pretty good sized dogs. They were both from the guide dog school. And we had a friend that was with the guide dog school. So one of them was his dog that was a graduate. The other dog was what I call a washout and what the school calls a change of career dog. It became a pet. And so we had both 2 Labrador retrievers is what we had. She didn't want to work was really what was wrong with her.
She was too lazy to work. Well, Barbara Schwert is our colleague. And are you still here, Barbara? There you are.
I am here.
Barbara also, do you still train working dogs?
I don't have one right now, but I've raised 2 guide dogs for Guide Dogs of America, a Labrador and a German Shepherd puppy.
When I met you, you had a flunk out.
She's a career change. They call them career change dogs. So yeah, we were her puppy raisers, and she didn't make her first evaluation was not good. So that was on a Tuesday, and they gave us till Friday to decide if we wanted to keep her or not. So I'm a dog trainer. I was ready to have her go on, but my husband said, but I love her. So anyway, we had her till she lived to be almost 17.
Wow.
So yeah.
Our school, we have worked with Guide Dogs of America. In fact, we've had several dogs from there.
Fun.
Change of career dogs. Most of them were change of career. I think the only one we had was a real guide dog. It was the one we moved in here.
Yeah, so their pass rate is right around 50% for their Labradors, and their German Shepherds are about 5%. So not surprised that there's a lot of career change guide dogs out there.
And this one is not our dog.
Not your dog?
No, we
Just wandered in.
both of our dogs have died. And I sort of got suckered into this. We have a resident here, Fritzy Baker, who had Selena, which is this dog, and she had to move and had to find a place for her dog. And since we had just lost one of our dogs, I offered to take her. And she's she's permanent. I don't think my wife is very pleased about this, but
I
But
want
she-
the Labrador.
but she's our dog.
Well, thank you for doing that for Fritzy. That was very nice of you. And
And she doesn't like being up here in my lap.
no, you don't have enough scraps up there. Well, that is very nice.
She's blind and deaf. So
So I don't know if Jan and Terry joined us today. They are brand new to Walnut Village as well. So they're Bruce and Ann's neighbors. So did you join us? These are Daisy and Donald. No, yes, Daisy and Donald, and they are brother and sister. I think we covered them all then.
I had been asked to be here, but
Oh,
I'm
no.
from Casa de Mañana.
Well, can you tell us about your pet?
Well, he is 13, and I've had him since he was a year old. He was a rescue, and they were going to put him down because he is quite shy. And he moved into a regular house with us, and my husband was extremely deaf. In fact, he was pretty much totally deaf. And Max knew immediately that there was something wrong. But my husband was a very stubborn man, and the phone would ring and Max would go over and he'd put his paw up and he'd say, in his way, telephone. So that didn't work. But what he eventually learned to do, and what I play canasta now that I've moved into Casa de Mañana once a week. And so I have a friend who gives him treats. And so when we're playing canasta, he goes over and pesters her for more treats, always more treats. And so he's gained a few pounds, but he's a very happy dog and people really enjoy him. He has reached a point where he's 24 pounds and I can't really lift him up, or I would show you. He's just below the limit. So,
Well, I'm glad he made it in and that he sounds like he just keeps everybody busy.
we also have a yappy hour, which we probably have, I'd say 18 or 20 dogs here at Casa de Mañana. But all of our dogs have been extremely lovely. And as I said, we have at least 20.
That is very, very nice.
I was going to tell you something about guinea pigs.
Oh, please do.
When I was in a resident in New York, that was one of the things that my children could have were long-haired guinea pigs. And with the cage like you have, we actually had a glass aquarium. And our guinea pig, we had brick steps up to it. And so the guinea pig would run around the living room, and when she'd have enough, she'd run up the steps and hop into her aquarium. It was so much fun. I just really loved having guinea pigs.
Oh, you've been wonderful, Martha. Thank you for joining the conversation.
I see Bert and Anne Raphael, and their dog looks really cool. Can they come on and tell us a little bit about him or her?
Sure. This is Jill, and she's a career change dog too. She's a Brittany. They used to call them Brittany Spaniels. And she was purchased by a guy who wanted to raise a wonderful line of bird dog hunting dogs. Jill unfortunately flunked out. She would go to the field trials, and one of the requirements is that they have to stay, when they point at a bird, they have their paw up. Fine, she could do that, but they are absolutely motionless otherwise. Well, Jill could never stop from wagging her tail. She got disqualified for wagging her tail every time she was in a bird dog trial. So that's how come when she was 3 years old, we got her as a rescue direct from the owner. And she's been absolutely lovely. What it means is that when 4th of July comes, the rest of you folks worry about your poor dogs. Our dog is just waiting for a bird to drop in front of her so that she can get back to work and go pick it up and bring it back. So, but she is not bothered by gunfire at all or any loud noises. And she keeps us very active. She's almost 12. She's almost 12. She will be in another month. We have, when we moved in, we said we wanted a dog door to go to the fenced patio that we have here. And they put that in so she can go out and lie in the sun in the fenced patio anytime.
She takes us for walks, typically about 2 miles. I did about 2.25 miles with her just before coming in for this. And I have trouble hanging on to her as she explores the neighborhood. I go about 2 miles. She must go 10, wandering back and forth.
But anyway, she's very nice. When we locked down, we couldn't go around with her. But before that, we went with the drinks cart, the activity cart, to go around the entire place here at Sunnyview, so that residents who didn't have a dog but who really wanted to pat a dog could pat one, because she's very, very happy to be patted. She's pretty well trained at sitting and stay, sit and stay and down and stay and things like that. And she doesn't bark at new people. She has never bitten anything that I know of other than dog food. She wolf sat down fast. And that's about it. She's just a real joy to have here, except for the fact that she sheds. She doesn't bark much at all. She will bark occasionally at the workmen who are modifying the apartment two doors down from us, but that's all. So this is Jill. She has a lot of energy, but she's really very well trained, and she's just an absolute love to have around. We would not have moved here if we couldn't bring a dog. Supposedly, they're supposed to be under 25 pounds. She was really about 40. I think she's more than that now, because they're bringing all these wonderful meals to us, but they often have slices of ham. And since we're Jewish, the dog does not keep kosher. She gets the ham. So she's gaining a bit of weight, I think, in the pandemic. But otherwise, everything's fine. She really likes it here. There's a few other dogs as well, and she likes all of them. They're very nice. At the moment, she's a little bit depressed because she just got a bath today, because we told her she would be on TV. Likes to swim, and we take her very often to a park that's quite near here, where Stevens Creek has a creek that she can go down to and go wade in the creek, and she likes that. But the shower, no, she's not a happy dog when it comes to getting
the point. Yeah, the point is swimming, not. I get that.
Yes.
So. And Anne and Bert, you come from Sunnyview up in Cupertino in San Jose. So it's so good to have you. Well, thank you for sharing.
We've been here about 10 months now, and it's really been lovely, except for the pandemic, of course. But with Jill, everybody gets to know us because, as they said, it's an icebreaker if you have a dog. Yeah.
Very true.
So, thank you so much. So another person I'd like to hear from is Dan D. And that lovely cat.
Hello. Hi, everybody. This is my wife, Suzanne. I'm Dan. We are actually volunteers at Carlsbad by the Sea in Carlsbad, California. And don't tell anybody, but we're also on the waiting list. So we love it there, and we have many friends at Carlsbad by the Sea. We love the staff. We love Front Porch and all the great work that Carmen and Jill and Mary do. So it's awesome to be a part of it. We really don't like the fact that we can't volunteer right now, and I know there's so many friends over there that would love to have a visit and some company and just can't. So it is kind of a heartbreaking time for us, but we're looking forward to the opportunity of doing that again as soon as they'll let us. We have been going outside actually and hanging out, at a distance. They, on occasion, it kind of comes and goes, but on occasion we can go out with our masks and sitting outside at a distance, we can visit with our friends there. So that's been very, very nice. And we've been trying to do that as often as possible. So we actually, to talk about our cats, do you want to talk about our cats?
Okay, well, we're not quite ready to move in yet. We haven't met the age requirement, but we just can't wait to meet the age requirement. But we also have 8 cats right now, so I don't think we could sneak in with that many. But they're all older. I was holding a Siamese earlier. Her name's Melee, and she's our youngest, and she's about 10. So most of them are in the 14 to 16-year-old range. So when we're eligible in another 6 years and 1 month, but who's counting? I don't think we're going to have this many. I'll talk about just one of our pets who's up here right now. This is Chloe. She's a little Cornish Rex. She's about 4.5 pounds, and she is about 19. And she initially came from a rescue from a breeder. She had to get rid of her kitties, and she's been through 2 homes, and we got her when she was 11 and felt like, okay, we're adopting an older cat. And now 8 years later, she's 19 and going pretty strong. And she's very feisty and she's very loud. I'm holding her now so she won't be screaming for her dinner. But we love our kitties very much. We love dogs too, but we travel quite a bit. And so kitties are a little easier on the pet sitter, or we were traveling before the pandemic. So definitely owning a kitty or 2 is in our, our future plans. So that makes Carlsbad by the Sea go, and it's right on the ocean. We can't imagine anything nicer, and all the people are so wonderful. And so we can't wait to be there. So Mary, thank you for inviting us.
Yeah, thank you, Mary. We really feel a part of the family for sure now.
I know that at Carlsbad by the Sea, there are lots of cat owners, and they take really good care of those folks and make them feel very welcome. And I've seen tons of dogs there too, but yeah, the cats, I'm glad that you have that in your plan. Are you only going to do cats, or do you think you might bring a dog too?
Probably just kitties, 1 or 2 kitties, although I think I'm going to end up pet sitting for a lot of residents when they travel.
Yes.
Because I can pass a baby, no problem, but every dog I want to stop and pet. So I have a feeling we might be busy with other residents and their animals.
Well, that's definitely a way to support your neighbors, because at our communities, people don't just live there and stay. They definitely do use that as their home, and they're out and about vacationing, and they do need that support from each other. So, well, good. We'll just sign you right up as soon as, okay, 6 years and 1 month.
And just so all you cat owners know, I looked this up a couple of days ago. The oldest living cat ever, 38 years old.
Oh,
Her name was Cream Puff.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, that means Chloe has a chance of going to CBTS with us.
Well, and it sounds to me like you do something special for your cats in the way that you must feed them. If you have that much longevity in that many cats, that is not random. I have a feeling that has to do with your health plan for these guys.
We're actually, I work with Dan. I volunteer with Dan, but I'm a retired nurse, actually a psych nurse, but there still is medical training.
I'm her patient.
And so I'm probably aware when they're sick and kind of watch changes. And as they're getting older, we have a diabetic cat that gets insulin injections twice a day. The big hairy one is Kona. He has asthma, so he gets an inhaler and a pill twice a day. There's a couple others that get pills. So it's kind of like a vet clinic here. So I do try to take really good care of them. And Dan knows how to do everything too.
Wow. Well,
and they're all indoor only, of course.
I don't know if you've ever seen it, but there's really nothing cuter than trying to give a breathing treatment to a cat. It's fantastic.
It's a good play with this inhaler most of the time.
We really appreciate being here.
Thank you for coming. This is so much fun.
We still have some more time, right, Mary? We can have room for some more stories.
Yes, we do. Does anybody else want to share their pet? Okay, Jana.
Okay, so I have an English red-rump parakeet. His name is Teal. He's about 21, 22 years old. I got him because I had a cockatiel, and the cockatiel was by itself a lot. I worked a lot of long hours. So I got Teal so that the cockatiel would be alone all the time. Unfortunately, the cockatiel passed away quite a while ago, but Teal's still going strong. At this point, he used to fly, but won't come to me. So anytime he flew, I had to put the cage on the floor to get him to go back into the cage. And now he's mostly in the cage, but every so often he'll climb on top and sit. Or sometimes he'll come on the floor and then I have to bring the cage down again and put him in because he does not come to my hand. He's a beautiful bird. He's called an English red rump parakeet because he has a red spot on his back, but he's multicolored. He has a yellow chest. He has blues and greens, and that's how I named him Teal. He responds to things like whistles and trains. So every so often he'll start whistling. If my doorbell is rung, he starts whistling. He jabbers here and there. I think he's gotten used to having me around for the pandemic. So when I leave the room, unless he's covered up or it's dark, he starts chirping and squawking and whistling. So he's been a good companion. He has some toys in the cage and he plays with the toys. And he's just been a good thing to have around.
I'm so glad you have Teal during this pandemic and as a good companion.
I have a pandemic story about Chico.
Okay.
He's so used to me being home all the time. If I put my mask on, he runs to the door. He knows he's going to get to go out.
Chico is smart.
Let me see if I can get the cat to show you the cat.
Okay.
This is big bad boy Billy. Can you see him? 18 pounds.
Wow.
He's a wonderful, wonderful cat. Wonderful. He wants down. He is the most wonderful companion. I've got to tell you, he's just as sweet as he can be. He was a stray cat, and when I came home from where I had been, here this beautiful cat with the big blue eyes was on the path going up to my house. And it turned out, so I thought I'd just love to take this cat to the vet. So I took it to the vet, and I thought it was such a beautiful female cat. Well, it turned out to be a male cat. And I said, he's full of fleas, he's a male. And anyway, he's just been just a wonderful companion. And I don't know what I've done without him here where I am living now. He's just with me all the time. He's just as sweet as he could be, and loves to eat, but he's gentle and very, very, whenever any company comes, he's right there. He's not afraid of anything. The only thing he's afraid of, he won't go outside. And I think that before I moved here, I was in another house not far from here. Anyway, some big construction thing went past our house and it scared him to death, and he went in and was under the bed for quite a while, and he hasn't tried to get out of the house. When the fellows come to bring the meals, he runs to the door and he stands right there, doesn't make a step outside. So anyway, he's been a very, very good cat, and I just love him. Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sally. Thanks for keeping on, and thanks for just persevering till we got you unmuted. Thank you for everyone who joined us. And we just had so much fun just meeting your pets. You should be very proud of the community you build around you just by being a part of the community with your pet. And I wish you all very well. I wish you all a wonderful 2021. And I look forward to seeing you at future Strength of Community chats and along the way, right? Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.